the day after that, a different student?
No, I'm different. That's other classes.
Okay.
So when we do, it wouldn't be discussions. It'd be more like critiques.
Okay.
Not on this project, but on some of the other projects, we're going to go ahead and post some of our renders in the stream on Google Classroom. And then we'll need a response from everybody on every image.
Okay.
Okay, so since it looks like there's going to be a steady 4 people, so just 4 posts every time. But that's not like every week. It's like every so often. And it's more of a, it's not more of a, it's a participation grade. And we might have 1 or 2 people solely online, so they'll be hovering about the Google Classroom that's not here in person. Okay. All right. Put this down. All right, Joseph, is your Maya up?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's run through it real quick. Again, a refresher for everybody else. Oh, let me grab that link.
Is that background supposed to be blue?
No, that's custom.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't show this last class, but they changed the color of your background for whatever reason. Alt B. Yeah, Alt B changes the color. If you want a specific color, I'm not sure for the public machines there, it'll keep the preferences, but if you need to change the color to something specific, you go to your preferences. I believe it's either, yeah, the Windows menu up top, preferences, and then is it interface? It's one of these bad boys. Oh man, that was such a long time ago. Okay, this might be a need to know basis. Does anybody want to change the color of the background to a specific color?
I'm trying to do mine too. I like
Yeah?
it.
Okay. All right, let me iron that out real quick then. Look it up. Let's see. Changing background. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Windows settings, preferences, color settings, and then general tab. There we go. Okay, 3D views. So again, Windows settings / preferences, color settings. Make sure you're on your general tab at the very top, 3D views, and then you can change the color to whatever you like right here. All right, cool. All right, so quick refresher. This is Maya, all right? All right, got all our menus at the very top. All right, right underneath there, we have our shelves in the drop box in the upper viewable, yeah. In the upper left corner here, the 2 main ones we'll be working with is modeling and rendering. All right, when I switch to rendering, it changes the menus right up top here. Okay, I'm going to leave it at modeling for now. All right, next to that we have our file buttons. So new file, open file, save file, redo, or undo, and then redo. All right, keep in mind that undo is Z, just the Z key, not Control Z, just regular Z. So, got cube, unmake the cube, press Z, Shift Z to redo. Very simple, very quick. All right, and then next example we have some selection buttons we'll get into a little bit later. Underneath that we have our shelves. All right, a nice plethora of shelves here. The one we'll be mainly working from is the poly modeling shelf. And right here you can generate all the shapes that you're going to need for this semester. Right, your sphere, cube, cylinder, your cone, torus, plane, and your disc here. All right, so you're going to be, messing with default cubes for our voxels. So to generate a cube, you just hit that button, comes up in the center here. All right. And then we have our tools off to the left side. All right, our selection tool, lasso selection, brush selection. I just want to mess with regular selection. To hit your selection key, selection tool when needed, the Q key. I'll bring you to it every time. All right, and right after that we have our move tool, 3 buttons down, which is also our W key, right next to the Q key. So Q, W for move. All right, when we move, we want to use the arrows, right? We don't want to use that center part, because that's how we lose track of our cube's placement in 3D space real easily. So just the arrows. And then once you get acquainted enough with moving things in 1 axis at a time, you can move them in 2 axes at a time. It's called moving them across a plane. But again, never the center part. You don't want to move it in 3 directions at once, because that moves it according to the camera. It's very easy to lose placement. All right. So hit Z to back in the center here. There you go. All right. We'll make sure our outlines are green. We're messing with just whole objects for now. So here see the blue, and you can highlight faces or an edge or something like that. Just right click and hold on your shape and go back to object mode.
Excuse me, how are you using the camera like that? How do they won't move the camera the entire time?
Oh, yes, yeah, okay. So that'll be next. So, so generation up top, tools to the side here, Q for selection, W for move, E for rotating, R for scale, and then to move the camera around, we're going to press and hold Alt, left click and drag to tumble. All right, press and hold Alt, middle mouse button click to pan. Slides your viewing camera left and right, up and down. And then press and hold Alt, press and hold your right click button to zoom. All right. Okay, and then one last detail we should know before getting started is duplication. Pretty simple. So we have a cube on the screen now, and then when we start building up, instead of just hitting and making another cube as needed from the center part, we can also duplicate, which is Control D. Control D will create another cube right on top of your selected cube. Control D, Control D. All right. Then I can marquee select, which is clicking and dragging in the empty space. You get a square that pops up, much like the desktop Windows. It selects everything within that square. Right, and I can select all the cubes. Keep in mind it selects everything in front of the cube and everything behind it too. So if I duplicate these guys, right, behind these 2 squares, marquee select, it selects those guys too.
The marquee selected on the left.
Well, no, either or. You just left click and drag to create that square. All right. And again, marquee select multiple cubes here. Control D to duplicate all the squares, all the cubes. They're duplicate right on top, so you don't see them at first, but they are there, and they're instantly selected. You can move them out the way. There you go, you got duplicate cubes there. All right. And one thing we want to keep in mind, it's probably a little easier to use your scaling to create some larger parts of your voxel character instead of doing the whole duplicate and move and duplicate and move. Also, it's easier on the machine. There's less shapes it has to worry about. All right. So everybody here but Joseph has plenty of practice with this. So the goal for this 20-minute exercise for everybody but Joseph is to come up with a voxel character, but keeping everything flush by using the channel editor here, right? We're going to want whole numbers or numbers with 0.5. We're going to keep all the cubes flush against each other, so no gaps, no overlap. We want to make it look as closely as possible to your voxel character reference. What's up?
My computer is not up.
Is it not working? Oh no. We have to switch computers here. There's a task with going around and figuring out which ones need help and which ones doesn't. Yeah, let's exit out of both of those windows. Please close these down. It's just for coding purposes. Let's hit OK. You hear about it, right?
No.
So you can quickly refresh it too. Same boat as this guy. All right. So we do have a 20-minute exercise on voxel characters. I can go over it one more time. So one more go around. All right, so Maya, all right? We have our menus up here. I'm going to be messing with two menus, modeling and rendering. Right now, just going to be on modeling for today. All right, right next to that, you have your file buttons, new file, open file, save file, read, keep saying the same thing, undo, and then redo. All right, keep in mind that you can hit the Z key, just the Z key alone. That would be my undo, and Shift Z to redo. Okay, it'll save you some time. All right, so with voxel characters, we are going to be building, I still have it up, character that looks like it came from Minecraft. All right, you can type in Minecraft to find references or voxel character. Voxel art. Yeah. Characters like these. Yeah, you got a dog. Golly, you got a skull. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all that's just cubes, right?
Zillions of cubes.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's pretty neat. It's got some good coloring in there too. But yeah, so we're gonna build not anything this complicated, but we're gonna build something like this is something from Minecraft, right? Just using cubes. All right. So this is your first cube. You grab them from the poly modeling shelf up top here. All right. We have our selection tool. You hit the Q key. It'll take you to your selection tool, mainly used to just select and get the other tools out of the way. For instance, if you need to grab a cube right next to here, and the arrow's kind of in the way, hit your selection, boom, there it is. All right, your W key brings you to the move tool. All right, we only move on the axis, one axis at a time. And once you feel more comfortable, you can do 2 at a time, but never 3 at a time, which is the center part. We'll never be using the center part. Just 1 arrow at a time, or 1 box at a time. Okay.
How was the duplication?
Oh, duplication is Control D. It's a little faster than generating cubes at the center and then trying to get them in position there. All right, we got our marquee selection. We can marquee select everything that's in our square. Once we click and drag an empty space, and just a few things as needed. All right, we got a rotation, which isn't really useful for this exercise. And then we also have our scale, which is very useful for this exercise. You can you build a larger body part without using multiple cubes. All right, and then to navigate your scene here, excuse me, press and hold Alt, click and hold the left your left mouse button here. It'll tumble for you. Press and hold Alt, and click and hold your middle mouse button to pan back and forth. Then again, press and hold Alt. Press and hold your right click button to zoom in and out. All right. And that's basically it. That's basically what we're going to use for the next 20 minutes. Now,
Selected, I'm trying to do the marquee thing.
Marquee?
Like you showed us, and I wasn't selecting it.
oh, so again, let's go back to object mode. So let's right click and hold. Top of the object there. Object mode. Upper right corner. There you go. Set up. Set. Okay. All right. Any questions before we get started? All right. We all have references pulled up. Okay, let's find a reference for the Voxel character, Minecraft character.
Yeah.
Why not? I'm trying to jot down everybody's name here. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. All right, you out? I see you, man. I suppose I'll do one too. Let's see. I'll do Steve. Okay, you all got a character?
Yes. Which is dimension?
Scaling. So, it'll be your skeletal marking.
Oh.
Yeah. Click it right here, but it is just that's really hard. Let's say bigger. All right. Justin, you got your character preference?
Oh, I'm in Joshua.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going for Steve.
Cool. All right. All right. So let's head back to binary real quick. Let's delete all the cubes. Fresh start. Marquee sort.
Huh?
Marquee, yeah. Marquee sort. So click and drag in the empty space. There we go. There. And then that one. All right. Let's see. Timer of the phone here. Right. Okay. And start now. Again, for everybody but 2 people, we're looking for flush arrangement. Shouldn't be any gaps or overlaps. axis at a time. One axis at a time. So not the middle part, just one of the arrows.
Okay. When you say one of the arrows, like the color blue?
Yeah, the blue, green, and red. Not the sun part. Never the sun part. Those of us here on Monday, we're looking for no gaps. Anything to be lined up perfectly whenever there's another cube there.
Now, if you had like a large rectangle, like if it was the body, and the body was also the legs, the same, if it was all in one, would there be a way to take the body, half of that rectangle that's using the legs and split them in two to make moving legs?
You don't need to do all of that. I mean, there's a way, but it's a matter of duplication and resizing them. About 3 minutes left. There we go. All right. How far we get?
Didn't color it, but it's done.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the reference. That is the proof. So we're just moving everything. And see the blue lines here, so we're messing with components. So to get out of that, let's right click and hold on top of the shape there. And then option. Yeah, and then I'll bring outlines. Okay. Let's see.
the body is right there. Anything else?
Yeah. Did you want?
Well, let's adjust that. Let's hit view. Select camera. And let's go to our channel editor. Let's hit control. Okay, so focal length. Let's change that to 35. And we get all right, cool. All right. Little first exercise. Right, that's easy. Okay. You get the reference? Cool, yeah. I thought that was cute. That was pretty cool. All right, awesome. All right, next steps. Next steps, saving. And saving is going to be particular. All right, this is part of production, so we have everything, a certain policy. All right, so there's a thing called naming convention. Every file that we save and submit has to follow the naming convention. There's just points off for it if we don't have it. All right, so the way we save our files here, right now we're just messing with regular MA files, project files. Later on we'll get into project folders where we get the images and all that fun stuff plugged in. But right now it's just project file. So let's go to File. Let's go to Save Scene As. And then this dialog box pops up. All right, you want to pick a good place on the computer or USB drive to save it to. I'm just going to save it to my desktop here. All right, and then what we want to do is our last name first, underscore, nature of the project, just the title. It's up to you. I'm going to put, say, Voxel exercise. Now this is going to have to be in camel text, which means the first word is all lowercase, and then every word after that is capitalized. So put Voxel exercise, pick Voxel quick exercise. So again, so all the voxels are lowercase, quick is capitalized, so the Q is uppercase, and then exercise, the E is uppercase, and write that on out. All right, then we have underscore. All right, V for version number. All right, this is going to be a little different. We put a dot right after the V. All right, and then we have at least 2-digit spaces. Now, since this is the first time I'm saving it, I'm going to put 0, 1. So usually either 2 or 3. As you do more and more, you'll learn if you need 3, if you save a lot. You get hundreds of files, go for it. I usually don't reach 99, so just 2-digit spaces are good enough. All right, and then after that, you can either type in MA or come down here to the Dropbox. Make sure we're on Maya ASCII. If it's Maya binary, I want to take points off and ask you to resubmit it because I can't read Maya binary. We're using different versions here. I think these computers have 2020. I'm on 19. MA is backwards compatible, right? You can use it on any version. Maya binary is only that version that the project was created on. So Maya ASCII, MA every time. All right, and then it changed mine, so I'm going to go ahead and come back here and correct it. So v.01.ma. All right, and this is a naming convention for all files submitted. Now, if
You want to employ some other arrangement, that's fine, but once it gets to me, it has to be in this arrangement, all right? Go ahead, hit Save As. This is the student version, so this is going to pop up. Just hit Continue. All right, and should be good to go. All right, so from there, let's go ahead and submit those into the Google Classroom assignment. Once you go back online and sign in.
Google Classroom?
Yeah, Google Classroom. Let's see, I think it's just Zari here is in both of them. Make sure you have the basic modeling and animation. All right, on Google Classroom, you can either hit your classwork tab at the top, and it should show you where to submit it. Excuse me. Or if you're looking at the stream, right next to upcoming, you should be able to click it on there and submit it that way. Right, and
How do we join this class? Classrooms?
oh, yeah. So we're missing two. Mary, are you in here in the Google Classroom?
I'm not.
Okay. Were you signed up? Were both of y'all signed up on Monday for the class through Blackboard?
I signed up yesterday.
Yesterday,
So
okay.
That's why but what's the class code?
Gotcha. Okay, let me go grab your email on Blackboard. I'll send you another invite, and I'll grab yours too, Mary, while I'm on there.
Our class email, not our first one.
Yeah, whichever one's on Blackboard is the one I'm using. Right, users. Yep, got Mitchell. Let's go ahead and post that before I forget. Copy. One, two. There you go. Okay, so it looks like you got the ATC Outlook email both of here. So it should be in your Outlook account, email account, the invite. And once you click onto that, it should take you to Google Classroom. Awesome. All right, anybody else having trouble submitting?
I just gotta try to save them again.
Okay, and just keep in mind the naming convention there.
four things on the top, those will be turned in, are like, it's like a little bit grading based off of quality or based off of the creativity, form, tools, and time.
Yeah. It's based on how closely you follow like all the instructions, right? We're looking for a complete project, looking for the correct naming convention, looking for voxel characters. Okay, let's see if everybody's in. I got two. Let's see, I see. I see Sterling. I see Harold. Still waiting on a few. Oh, see Zyros. All right. Okay, Joshua, Mary, y'all having any trouble getting the Google Classroom there?
I'm trying to log
I'm
in.
just into it right now.
Cool.
I am having some issues.
Oh, what happened?
How do I upload the-
Let's go back to the assignment. Add or create.
Wait, any value in dollars or something, right? 25.
Yeah, so that's for people who it's for particular. We're gonna learn how to use your way of getting that set up. It's a little more automatic. Oh, okay. So do you have a Google account that you use? Yeah. Just
And, I spoke with Voxel.
One more time?
We need to acquire a textbook.
The Facebook.
A textbook.
Oh yeah. So textbooks are due Monday. All right, that's for participation grade. So they're available at the bookstore. Also available at Amazon.com. I believe it's Prime. It's called. Let me pull up the syllabus real quick. It's the Autodesk Basics for 2020 Maya. It's on the syllabus. Syllabus is on Blackboard.
Well, it's a textbook for Maya.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So if you go underneath course information for this course on Blackboard, second page here, Autodesk Maya 2020 Basics Guide, Kelly Murdoch, the ISBN number right underneath there. All right. Also, I highly suggest getting a USB storage drive, at least 64 gigabytes, especially if you've got Maya on your home computer in here. Did anybody dive into installing Maya at home or personal machine?
Is it free?
It is for students, but you do have to make an account, and it's going to verify with ATC if you're a student. So basically, plug in your student email, and then you upload a picture or student ID.
And this USB is the regular hard drive.
Yeah, just a regular USB drive. So I like the flash drive or those big bulky ones with the cord.
So we should be able to find this at Walmart or on Amazon.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Best Buy, Target, all that. Okay. Cool. All right. So, any more questions before we move on? What's up?
I'm having problems submitting it. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, same thing with Joshua there. You get the assignment. It should be a nice little button, add or create work. Let's make it a little bigger. There it is. And then you do one. And file. Yeah. Awesome. Cut it off. All right, cool. So the nature of this project is to help with aligning objects with one another, boxes in this case. Later on we'll get into the other cool shapes. But we want to take it a step further here, just a moment. I'll wait for everybody to be on the same page real quick. Okay, so same idea. Who's familiar with like 8-bit video games and animation? Okay, awesome. Let me pull up some examples real quick. This is how we get a little more complex. It's also called voxel, voxel art, pixel art, that sort of thing. But we're going to do it in 3D. Eventually, we'll get to the point where we can build our own original characters in pixel art. Let's see. So, So we got some cool stuff like this. So pixel art, Mega Man, of course, all the Mario day and age. It's not Donkey Kong. What is that? Maybe
Oh,
Sonic?
Yeah, that's not Donkey
I think
Kong.
that's just a gorilla.
Just like
Yeah. You remember those little animals in Sonic though that you pop out the?
Oh.
Yeah, that
I
might be
haven't
one
seen
of
any
them.
gorillas in Sonic.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I just remember birds and stuff, but they're small like that. But yeah. So this is 8-bit pixel art, right? Now it's we're gonna start with 2D, right? Since it's a little more complex, right, than Minecraft. All right, we're gonna pick one of these characters. It's gonna be at least what was it? 15 by 15 units, right? And then we're going to build these in Maya. And then depending on how fast we work today, we can get to color a little bit. But okay, so let's this is easy. So let's everybody find a Super Mario fish, 8-bit fish reference here. And then we'll get into snapping.
And that'll be on record.
On which one?
Oh, the Super Mario fish.
Yeah, Super Mario fish. The fish is just a good starting point. If you have anything else in mind, let me know. We can get started on that in just a couple seconds here. No, that'll work. Technically, that'll work. You just gotta imagine cubes instead of beads. Marla himself, awesome. Okay. All right, so we all have a reference? Yes, anybody not have a reference? Okay, all got a reference. All right, cool. All right, so let me use this one. All right, and then, like before, we were talking about like keeping everything flush, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to manipulate the anchor point of our shape so you have an idea of how to line everything up with the grid here. And again, the grid is on a metric system. Each one of these are 1 by 1 centimeter squares here. And they go infinitely in every direction. Like the X, the Z, and also the Y. I'll show you that in just a moment here. So let me grab a cube here. All right. Then I'm going to press D. Now, press and hold D. That'll allow me to edit the anchor point. I rotate it. I can move it. No scaling involved. It's just it's one 3D coordinate. Hit Z. Put it back in place. So press and hold D. And then to snap it, I'm going to press and hold V. And pressing and holding V means it's going to snap whatever I have selected to the vertexes. Now, who's not familiar with a vertex? So a vertex is a 3D coordinate for a for object here. So let's see, if I go to vertex mode by right-clicking and holding, you can see the vertexes on each of these corners here on the cube. All these are vertexes. And basically it's just one 3D point in space. So it has an X, a Y, and a Z coordinate. Right, and all these shapes up here have vertexes. And some a lot more than others. Alright, so for the cone, there's one vertex at top, and then a whole bunch of vertexes at the bottom here. Each of these are just one point in 3D space. With here, kind of like the cone, except it has more vertexes, the same amount of vertexes on the top and the bottom. Got our cube and the sphere, vertexes on each one of these cross points right here. Alright, and so pressing and holding V is going to snap, again, whatever I have to that vertex. For instance, if we work without the anchor point, I can press and hold V key by itself. I'm going to pull it on its Z axis. It's going to snap it to one of these vertexes right here. Move it across another axis, snap it to the Y coordinate on the vertex. And then on the X last, it's going to place the center, the anchor point of this cube, on the end vertex for this point in here. Let's see. See if I can ghost this real quick. There we go. There we go. So the anchor point is right on that vertex in the cube. That's a good quick way of keeping everything either fleshed together or a certain arrangement. It's going to be pretty much imperative for building a nice flush 8-bit character here. Alright, so instead of snapping this cube around though, I'm going to mess with its anchor point first. So again, press and hold D, press and hold V. Alright, I'm going to start with my Z axis, pull the anchor point over, then my X, and my Y. I'm going to place that anchor point right on that bottom vertex here. Any bottom vertex will do. Just one at the bottom. Then once that anchor point is snapped into place, press and hold X. X does the same thing as V, except instead of vertex points, it's going to snap to grid points. Right? So any of these crosses here, it's going to snap to one of those. I'm going to start with my Y. Snap it till it's flat on the grid here. Press and hold X. Then my X axis. Press and hold X key to get the snapping. I'm messing my X axis arrow here. And then I'm going to hit my Z one more time. You can see that this cube fits snugly right inside of that square there. So the cube is 1 by 1 by 1 centimeter, just like the grid layout here. Alright, so instead of doing this over and over again, come back here and snapping it to a corner. And snapping it to the grid. We can just duplicate. Alright, and then you can see where this is going. So we can grab a couple of these, duplicate, press and hold or X, move it along one axis, and start building the body of our shape right here. Cancel. So it eventually gets bigger and bigger, and it exponentially becomes easier because you have more cubes to duplicate. There's a setting on here, we're not going to worry about it because it just complicates things or helps, where you can duplicate everything at the same time and then move it over just fine. But the default setting does something pretty weird here. So if I duplicate all these, move them up, and then try to snap them all to the side here, they're going to lay up on one another because I'm moving it on one axis, and it's going to line up. It's going to try to line up all the anchor points on the same axis here with the same point on the grid. So it's just going to be. Whoop. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. Okay. They're just going to be on top of one another. So for right now, we just select the file, cubes, duplicate, and just move those over as needed. Alright, something else that's going to help with building this character is a flat view, because these are 2D, right? We don't need 3D for this part. So to take a look at a flat view without having to adjust the camera back and forth, right? Then try to line it up and so forth. A button, it brings everything back into view. We can hit spacebar, and that'll bring us to our orthographic views. It's basically just flat view. That's what it means. And we get 3 views for the 3 dimensions, right? So we got our front, we got our top, and we have our side here. It's pretty easy to see thanks to Steve here. It shows us the different dimensions. Now it's easier to work with the top, but feel free to use any of the other ones as you like. And then from there, we can get a good idea of what our character's coming out to look like. We can check for gaps, make sure we're not moving things by hand, and they're off a little bit. As long as our anchor point is in place, it's easy to fix. So you can press and hold X, and in this view, since we can't technically move it up and down the up and down the Y-axis, you can grab the center part, and I'll snap it back into place. It's a little faster than doing it one by one. Alright, and then also with this view, this orthographic view from up top, we also count how many squares we're going to need to build out the whole silhouette of the 8-bit character you've chosen. Alright, so we can get a perfect coordination. So this fish is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 cubes high. So I'll go ahead and build that real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that. That's 10. $15. 16. Yes.
Before we get too far in, can I have a hand here? I've been trying to catch up, but I've had.
Oh, what's up?
So I'm stuck with the unit here, so I'm trying to.
So object.
But you can just go to face to face and then.
Okay.
That hard time.
Yeah, let's right click and hold. And then object mode. Alright, yeah, let's get that anchor point first. So one of the bottom vertexes. We press and hold B. Press and hold B. Press and hold B. And snap to the vertex. Let's hit Z. And do that. One more time.
So I'll hold it all at the same time.
Yeah.
And then click and then Z.
No clicking, we're gonna move it. So let's hit Z again. Put it back in place. Alright, let's grab that green arrow. Snap it to the bottom. There we go. Stumble around, make sure it's on that vertex. Okay, looks like it's on there. Let's put that on the grid. The whole cube. Let's hit Z. Alright, and then let's move the cube onto the grid. So let's press and hold X. And then that, green arrow there. There we go. Let's get it to fit inside of one of the grid squares. Yeah, that's in there. Okay, and then you just want to duplicate that cube. Yeah, there's no more D. Z. The D is for just the game. So no, it's in place when so control D.
Yeah.
Hold on. So when you hit control D, it duplicates object right on top. So you're not going to see it until you move.
I'll make that.
Z, get it back in place. And Z one more time. There it is. Alright, now they're on top of each other, right? And then remember what we said about key selection. So it's everything inside of that box that you draw. Okay? So we need the opposite of that. So let's just click. One square. Okay, so you just grab one square that's on top of the marquee select. So it's like there. So just click. There you go. Alright, let's move that square out of the way. So you can see it. There we go. Alright, when we use X to snap to the grid. Press and hold X. There we go. It's off just a little bit, so this is just a Z. Z being the blue arrow. So the focus points are either hand, so let's hold the mouse button. And press and hold. Just move it there. And then also, if you lose track of what you're trying to look at, you can press and hold. Press and hold. Just hit F. Now line up whatever you have selected. Now let's do some rotation values and stuff on there. I wouldn't use those. I'll go back to the default key. Readjust that. Yeah. Let's do a monkey select and delete all of those.
Now we can designate X. This is green to the left. So on top of here. Okay, go. Alright, cool. So it's on there. So if you tumble around, you can see it sitting on top of it. Just go. Just go. This one, right? Then you can duplicate that one instead of doing it around this.
Okay, so we're just learning, so we're just focusing on duplicating and larger building blocks instead of making the composition that way?
No, you're making the composition.
Okay, so we're still,
Yeah.
And what is the why it's not something that you need to do?
So we step to here. So when you put no effects, it's not maybe a source or pressing the effects.
And remove this, the whole view?
No, there's no notes and we're going to do it. Let's focus on one side at a time. We don't leave too many and not enough. And then stack on top of it.
Okay, because they need it. Right. I don't know if for people that are still
Yeah. Yeah. One side. Just don't remind them of the little guys.
yeah.
So it's not enough. Let's just try this one. Yes. Let's make sure that it's inside the screen. Okay. You can flap space for it. Yes. Well, when it duplicates it, it's on top. And right on top, so it's hard to see it. So if you will click, if you just click, when you mark you select, you can click there, it's going to select everything. So it's click off, and then click on, and then unselected, and then you do that one. And then just mark you select. So click off, click off, click off. Listen to this. Grab one of yours. Okay, so space. So that's another thing. So it's got a unique feature. Maya keeps an idea of where the mouse is at. So depending on where the mouse is at, spacebar does different things. All right, so if you tap spacebar, you get these 4 views. All right, if the mouse is hovering over this view and you tap spacebar again, it maximizes that view. And go back to your original view, tap, then hover over this the tumble view here, and tap again to maximize it. Cool. It's off. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
When I press X in front of you, it turns it into one column.
Yeah, that's the smushing effect. Now they're just stacked on top of each other because it's trying to line up all the anchor points on that one file. Now if you click, okay, well that's another thing we haven't gone over. So pressing holding Shift, kind of like in Windows, when you want to select multiple icons on the desktop, pressing holding Shift adds to your selection or ticks away from it as needed. Yeah, pressing holding Shift. Shift click. That'll get you the just the one cube out of the stacks of cubes that are on top of each other.
I'm not trying to turn it into one column. It's my squares will turn into one column. I'm simply trying to do what I did before.
Yeah,
Copy it and then move it so I can get to the squares underneath and just increase my grid size.
right. It's
So
squishing them together when you try to duplicate them all.
Also, do this, then duplicate, then X and move what I have selected, and then open that.
Yeah, they're all on top of one another.
So
They're all there. They're just see them squishing together.
then how do I unsquish this?
So yeah, so hit redo. Okay, Shift Z. With Shift Z again. All right. Let's see. Each one of these, right? And then we just move them to the side. Okay. And using shift click. No marquee sort. Not yet. Right. Let's go ahead and take D again. We want to get all. All? Yeah. So hit Q. So you get rid of the movement tool, and then shift click all of it. Then I'll hit W again. Alright, we can snap them back in place at any time. So let's go ahead and hit that red arrow, slide them to the side. All the way over. Alright, and then let's do that again. And get all the cubes that are already there. You might have to, cube. So this one. No, all the way out. And bring each file back in. This one. That's cool. That's good. So hit Z. And place and put that on the shift. Z1. The Z works on selection. There we go. And shift click that one this one. There we go. And it's 4. So what is it? Z. Back in position. Alright, awesome. Then we can go file by file. Right, so select the inner file.
Inner file.
The marquee cell. So
and then move it somewhere else and get back to them. I know we just did that right now, but.
Yeah. No. I'll give you peace of mind. There's an option. I'm gonna pull it up. They're gonna complicate things. I'll let you know now. Like later on, it's gonna be that little checkbox. It's gonna throw things out of whack. Okay, so Joshua, if we come over here to the Move tool, double click on that. It'll bring up our tool settings for the Move tool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then if we come down here to where is it at? Move Snap Settings. All right, and then let's uncheck. If it's checked, uncheck it. If it's not checked, check it. And then give it a try, what you were saying. Let's see. It might be asking for too much to move them all. Yeah, actually it's probably something else. I thought that would work. Okay, well, we can do this instead. All right, so, man, this is going to get complicated. Okay, so we can select everything here, right? We go ahead and group them together by hitting Control G. All right, so that kind of makes it into a much bigger shape with smaller shapes inside. Like once you do that, though, we're going to have to. No, actually, it was right on point. Then we can move the group over, and then we retain spacing. Then ungroup mine for peace of mind there. Alright, so if you like to keep doing it that way, so what we'll do is, again, we'll see the artifacts and stuff. So it's line it up with the z-axis. No, that might be it. Come on. So let's hit Z. Right. And let's click off real quick. See that? Dot.
Yeah.
Maybe that top. Let's try the z-axis. Just the top. Let's click off. See what you want with that. Let's change them. Let's do something new.
How to rent a squad?
Yeah, so that'll be the group we pick. So,
Yeah.
once you have a good group, this isn't flush. Right? So once you have a good group, you'll do this. You'll mark these up all these. Control G, to group them. Alright. And then you can duplicate that group and move it over. to Z. Whenever you want to move something back into place, you use Z. You want very precise positions. Alright, so you have one object in the group, mostly, it's not the whole one. Click on, click this one, and the up arrow, and then you group. We're going to group that object as a file, and you can move that as a group and snap it. Just like that. We have two groups, which is the duplicates, right? And marquee select. Those, so both groups. Select.
Okay.
So we're just going to click that. Click one object. One group, and we can use our X snap to three. And that'll be the way you want it. You want it to build it. Up or out, it depends. Yeah, are you snapping it? Because it looks like it's off just a little bit. X. Let's go back to the first cube. It's already snapped onto the grid. Let's do it the other ones. It's just gonna get in the way. After select, and then let's press and hold control. Click on that grid. So, assuming that one's on the grid precisely, go along a little bit more. Let's see what we do. Should be. So if you want to build up, we hit duplicate. Control V. Okay. And then grab that up there. Yellow. So whenever you want to put something back, you hit Z. We got a couple of gaps. doing it upwards or across?
Well, I was trying to keep it up, and then I was trying to take parts of this and then make that the top of this. I was trying to keep that together because every time I take it out the whole view, it only moves the side on the piece.
Yeah, one file at a time. So we're just going to do rows and columns.
Okay, so like this. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So, yeah, we just want one file at a time. Otherwise, it's like grouping.
So like even when I load it in, then we go down, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see Z, goes back in place. We have a couple of guys in there. Some of them are off the grid. And we probably should just keep it flat. They don't want it to confuse.
Just grounded?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's still going to get rid of those extra pieces. It's not on the grid, it's just give me just a second, sir.
Okay.
So, this is a couple times.
So that's the building shape, right? The 2D shape. So,
You know, a couple of things off. Maybe. I'm just going to really go. Really.
Oh yeah, that's what I've been studying. Last couple of minutes, been trying to line up that baby.
Extra ones, some of the topics, you know, the whole shit, stuff they can focus to.
stuff in there. Moving around the little gap there. User selection.
No, so the same thing. You want everything over here. So this is where we can select everything. Down at the, so the little tunnel and then zoom out. So, yeah, no, no. Maybe like graphic view. Well, okay, so exactly sure what you're saying that I was looking at it. So tap space bar. And stuff that you here is looking straight down. Intel, so if there's anything like artifacts or just keep your lines and line up with the custom effects. Looks off and there's no X and try out X. Okay, got that one quick detail before we split here. Make life a lot easier. So since all our movements are going to be pretty much snapping to the grid, and of course, after we get into that first part, let's just turn that on permanently, right? So let's go up top here. You'll see a collection of magnets at the very top. And then we're gonna make sure this is the right one. There's two of them that. Hold on. Yeah, it's that. It's that first magnet. The first magnet permanently turns on snap to the grid. And a good way to verify that is when you press and hold X, it is highlighted, right? So click on it, keep it on, then all your movements will be snapped to the grid. You can tell by the center part turning into a circle instead of a square. That's how you know you're in snapping mode there. Okay. All right, so almost about that time. Any questions? Concerns? Straighten away. Okay. All right. So for Monday, let's go ahead and grab those textbooks, and then let's have a fully, so to speak, a fully fleshed out 8-bit character here. No, well, in 2D mode. So all the cubes in place, flush with one another. Right? No overlapping cubes, no extra cubes, nothing like that.
By overlapping, you mean no cube going through another cube?
Right.
Oh.
So that includes like duplicates. Like if you made a duplicate and you forget about it and it's overlapping entirely on another cube, that counts as intersecting. All right, cool. Right, so 15. Right. If there isn't any more questions, then that concludes today's class. I'll see you guys Monday. And again, we need a fleshed out 8-bit character in textbooks. Textbooks.
Saying that we'll continue that by Monday, or that should be,
Should be done.
or no, it's including the 8-bit character?
Hmm?
Including the 8-bit character?
Um,
Or you're saying, I know the textbook should be here by Monday.
right.
You're saying we're gonna finish this on Monday? The 8-bit character?
Yeah, you finish modeling this for Monday. All the cubes should be in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I don't have
All right,
Maya
I'll see you.
downloaded on my laptop now, but when I do it, is there gonna be a way to, because I don't have the flash drive with me now, so is there gonna be a way to like,
Yeah. So they're not that big. You can save it out here and then email it to yourself.
okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll see you, man. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
Okay, so you were saying if we don't have my other laptop, just email this, what we have, to our student email, and then we just copy off of that, what we have, onto a new save file?
Yeah. Once you get Maya, of course you start from scratch. You know, it shouldn't take too long. Let's see. Let's make sure it's the same procedure as before. So, Autodesk.com. Go to products, Maya. It's the free trial. With the student. Hold on.
Is there a password?
No. Again, you create a student account, and then you create your own password. They're going to ask for your email and a picture of your student ID. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Glad to help. Okay, now I'll go ahead and post a link where to get Maya on the stream.
Well, so we're gonna have to save this
At some point, yeah.
and put that now.
No. I mean, you should be able to recreate what you have now in a matter of minutes.
Okay. Would you say they still have some textbooks available at the bookstore now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The stuff like that, am I way out?
All right, cool.